Hi guys, and welcome back, and thanks very much for tuning in to this, which is the fourth in a series of 4 videos about the user interface of the Tesla Model 3. And if you've made it through all 4 films, well done on you. It's a lot of information, but there is a lot of information that you need to run through when you're reviewing something like the user interface of a car like this. In the previous videos, in the first video, which you'll see a card for, we looked at an overview of the screen, the information on the right hand side in the UK car, and the buttons along the top of the screen. In the second video we reviewed the satellite navigation, different ways of input and destination. You can see the card for that video if you want to take a look. Third video, the main settings buttons, which is activated on this button here, brings up the main menu, and we went through all of those headings, looking at virtually every button function in the car. And in this final video, we're going to take a look at the buttons along the bottom and what they do along the bottom of the screen. So let's get right to it. The buttons along the bottom here, the first one of which is the car icon, and that brings up the sort of settings menu, if you like. And we've been through there. There is a video I've already recorded showing all of these different menus and what each function does. So do tune that in. And by pressing that button, that brings that menu up and down. Also, it is a quick way actually to open the glove box, for example. You just bring that up and the glove box button is right there. You can also open a glove box just with a voice activation as well. Okay, so next to that is the music icon, and if you tap that one, it brings up your music interface. And along the bottom here, you've got various options from radio. So this is where you would tune, where you'd look at your radio. You've got direct tunes, or you can find stations, etc., etc. Next is the phone. It'll bring up your phone. So my phone's here. So if there's music on my phone I wanted to play, you could do that through there. Karaoke I haven't bothered with, but I have done it once or twice. Well, you can see I've done it once or twice. It shows the popular ones I've used, but it is where you can sing along to music if you want to. Tune in is a digital DAB radio type thing. You basically can tune into any podcast or any radio station in the entire world. It uses the internet to get you to any sort of radio station. And there's a few podcasts, Tesla podcasts, that I tune into there. Spotify, if you've got premium connectivity, you are able to use Spotify with a Tesla account. I've actually got my own Spotify account, so that's what I'm tuned into. So, and it is quite useful, I've got to say, it is useful. And you only get it with premium connectivity. But of course, you can actually, for example, on my playlists, these are all on my phone as well. So I could, for example, just play it off my phone through the phone connection through there. So I could do it easily that way if I wanted to. But you can look at playlists, you can search any piece of music you want if you've got Spotify, and you can virtually, well, people know what Spotify is. USB. Now this is interesting because the car has a hard drive that I've attached to it, an SSD, and I recommend the Samsung T5 SSD, which is a solid state drive, so it's very fast, and it's used by the car to save the footage from the dash cam and from the Sentry mode. I've actually split my hard drive, so I've also got another partition on it, which allows me to store music that I own. So I've actually got those albums that I listen to a lot, and basically Eric Clapton and Andy Fairweather were basically all I ever listened to. And so, example, there's one album on here that is not available on Spotify, but I own the album, so I've now got that in the car so I can listen to it anytime I want. This is another area that's putting me on the fence about premium connectivity, because if you utilize this, and I will do a separate video on how you do this with your USB drive, it's very easy, and it's very easy then to put all your music on. And this SSD is 500 gig. So I've just split it down the middle, 250 for the Sentry and dash cam and 250 gig for music. You can store a lot of music on 250 gig, as you can imagine. So you could even argue you could store every piece of music you ever want. Okay, so then we've also got settings. This brings up a sort of graphic equalizer of sort and allows you to change the balance in the car. Got a nice graphic for that, where you can move the speaker balance wherever you want. And then options, not many options, but just allows you to have mobile control and also immersive sound, gives you a bit more bass, etc. So that's the options along there. And then any music, basically you can just simply pick a podcast, a playlist, a station, anything you want, and just start typing in and it'll narrow down that search for you. So that's pretty much the sort of music setup on this second button along there. I'm going to come back to this up button. We're going to skip it for a second because the others are quite quick to explain. This one takes a bit more detail. So let's just come out of that. So this one here is your seat. These are your heated seat controls. Just toggle through driver's seat in a UK car. 3, 2, 1 and off. Toggle through. And the same on this side for the passenger seat. And then in the middle is your climate control. You can turn the climate control on just by touching it. You will hear a bit of noise now because it's quite warm in this car. Hitting the fan gives you this wonderful visualization of the air conditioning. And I love this, the way that you can adjust the airflow. Because in these cars, it's just one big strip of airflow. And so you can split it between two vents that avoid your face, one go on each side. Or you can bring it into the middle, you can raise it up and raise it down. Really lovely visualization there, isn't there? And then actually in here you've got off, on. Dog mode is where you're leaving pets in the car, or camp mode is where you're staying overnight and you want to keep the temperature in the car consistent so you don't boil. I've got this one set at auto at the moment. If you take auto off, this is where you can manually adjust the fan speed, etc. And also the direction of the airflow. And across here, actually, one that sometimes gets forgotten, this is for the vents in the back of the car if you've got passengers in the rear. But that's pretty much the air conditioning controls. Something really good to play with. Visually looks awesome. As far as adjusting the temperature goes, you just simply tap there. You can unsync those and have two separate temperatures for each side of the car, or you can sync them up. You can also just tap it and then move your finger along the bottom of the screen to adjust the temperature to whatever you want. Okay, we've talked about that one already. Here's your front and rear heated screens, pretty self-explanatory. And here, can't demo it because we'll have some music playing, but here's the volume for your entertainment system, which you can adjust there. You can either tap it and you'll see the icon come there, drag that if you want, or as we did with the temperature, just move your finger up and down along there and that'll adjust the volume for you as well. I'm hoping that doesn't kick in now. No. Okay, so going back to the last button along the bottom here then, let me just switch the aircon off a second so that we haven't got the noise of that. The last button at the bottom here brings up another sub-menu, which is why I wanted to leave it till last. And this sub-menu we're going to run through. First of all, you've got your telephone calls there, so you can have a look at messages. If you've got any messages synced up, they'll come through from your mobile phone. Your favourites, so any of your favourites will be listed there. Most recent calls that you've made are listed there too. Don't want to do that, whatever I did. Contacts, so it'll access all of your contacts in your phone book, from your phone. And then dialer, so you can manually dial in if you want to as well across there. So that's pretty much as you'd expect from the dialer. Next is your calendar. If you've got this synced, I've had an update. I do need to redo this. You need to use your mobile phone app to do it. But it's very simple to do it. I could even demo it actually, although this will be out of focus, I guess. I do need to reset it myself anyway. So you go into the Tesla app and into settings and then calendar sync, and that will now sync that up. So yeah, so I've now synced up the calendar, so that's where you can see there. So we can get rid of that. Camera brings up the back camera angle, which you can also access by hitting that button, and also when you go into reverse it automatically comes up. Energy, this is quite interesting actually. This gives you a lot more detail about the energy consumption that you've had, particularly around the average watt hours per mile, etc. that you're using, and you can also do this on a projected trip as well. Charging brings up that charge panel again, which is also accessible by using this button here or this button here. So plenty of ways to get to that menu. And from here you can set your charging level, open the charge port, etc. Web takes you to a browser which allows you to surf the internet. Again, this is a premium connectivity function. One question I don't know is how you can do, can you do this by using a hotspot from your phone? I suspect you can, but I'll test that in the video about premium connectivity, which we'll do at a later time. And lo and behold, why would I be on Aldi's wine range? Who knows? Anyway, that's your browser, and it's pretty good, pretty fast, as you'd expect. Entertainment brings up two sub-menus. Arcade is all of the games that you can play in the car. I must admit, I haven't gone through a lot of these. There's some old retro games. Missile Command, I used to love that. I know the one, I think it's this one here. You play that one and you actually use the steering wheel and the throttle in the car to control the car in the game, which is pretty cool. Fallout Shelter is the latest edition that came in a few updates ago. So some games there to keep you or the kids entertained. And then theatre, this is where you can go into Netflix if you're a subscriber of Netflix. Again, I think this is linked to premium connectivity, but you might be able to use it via your phone as a Wi-Fi hotspot. Not sure. That might be the only one that you wouldn't get. I don't know. YouTube, so you can simply go in there and to search some YouTube videos. I'll give you an example of the speed of it launching. So this is in real time. I'm not going to cut the video for this. It isn't the fastest load up time in the world, but it brings up some initial controls for the car: temperature, brightness of the screen and volume. And then shortly after that, it brings up the YouTube interface. And while it is loading, it does give you an example of how dirty your screen is. Oh, here we go. So I've actually logged into my own account on here, and that is quite tricky. There is a workaround. Look up a video for it. It's not the straightest thing in the world to actually log into your own YouTube account, but I've logged into that, and so we could bring up my own YouTube channel, which has got a huge number of subscribers right now, at 50 subscribers. So I wonder whether we can get that up at all. But it's a great, if you're charging up the car and you want to sit back and watch a few videos, perfect thing to do it with, really, isn't it? So to exit out, you just simply hit the X button there. Twitch, don't even know what it is. Never heard of, well, I've heard of it, but I don't know what it is, if I'm honest with you, and I don't even know whether there's stuff in there in the UK, but we're about to find out because I've just activated it. So let's have a little look, see if it actually does anything. Oh, maybe. Welcome to Twitch. Ah, right, okay, looks like it's game videos. Yeah, can't see me using that much. There we are. And then some tutorials. You've got some sort of Tesla tutorials there as well. So that's your arcade and your theatre. And then the final button along this this option here is the toy box, and this is where you've got all the sort of fun things like, I mean, in fairness, it's probably worth the price of the car on its own, isn't it? And you can actually change it so people sit on different, fart on demand. I think you can move, I thought you could move that, maybe I'm wrong. I don't think you can, right? Oh, you can. So when people sit in these particular seats, or it comes out of this speaker, I don't know. Anyway, so I don't know, fart on demand is press the left. Okay. Oh, that's cool. So anytime you want. And then fart on turn signal. I mean, that's just awesome, isn't it? And you can even select which fart you want. So yeah, a must-have in any vehicle. You've also got a few other things. I think this is some sort of recording thing. I've never really played it. It might be a drum kit thing or something, I don't know. Romance is where you can have your sort of romantic setting with the logs burning. get cozy. I think it actually plays the music as well, which we can't do now because of copyright. Sketchpad is where you can actually draw on their map. You can become part of a map. Santa, which I won't do again because I never know how to switch that off, and it ends up playing Christmas music even in July. And Rainbow Road is a sort of psychedelic thing. So some things to play with there as well when you're sat at a supercharger charging your car up. So that's pretty much it as far as the menu at the bottom goes. That's pretty much everything covered off. So combined, these 4 videos have been very long, but there is an awful lot of information that's available. I must admit, when I first bought the car, I was a little daunted by the menus, but they're very user friendly, very intuitive as to where they are. So once you get into it, not too much of an issue at all. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please do check out my other videos. Please definitely do subscribe, and plan on making an awful lot more videos as time goes on about this amazing car. And if you've any ideas that you want to pass my way, any suggestions on various videos I can do, then please do let me know in the comments, and I'd be very happy to accommodate you if I possibly can. But thanks very much for tuning in. Cheers.